Humans make 35,000 decisions a day. 95% are irrational. Why is everyone irrational? We have the explanation of how and when this happens. Are you irrational or just human? Irrational humans, where I talk about body language, micro-expressions, behavior economics, behavior science, neuroscience, consumer behavior, persuasion, influence, how people make decisions, irrational behaviors.
Sometimes surprise me that at this point in life, people are still asking the same question. Dear irrational human, why I always ended up with assholes in my first date? Well, let me tell you, we're going to talk about 5 things that I'm sure you're doing and the other people does, and you're not paying attention on it. Let's celebrate this weekend of 4th of July if you're going to go to a date with some advice that I'm sure is going to be good for you.
Face reading profiling. Your face isn't just for selfies. Here's how it controls your life, from love to power. Understand how your face shapes your opportunities. Unlock the secrets of your face and start winning more.
Susan, every time that I'm going on a date, I ended up on the same situation. They say they don't want drama, I ended up on drama. Every time then they says I don't want somebody who cheat on me, they ended up cheating on me. What is going on with me? Dear irrational human Laura, you're not the only one out there, and like I says on the intro, this happened in sales, and it happened in relationship, and it happened in dating. Let me give you 5 reasons why you need to be paying attention to these tips, and you need to be paying attention to anyone that is in your life or you expect them to bring them to your life. A. People says who they are when they ask for the things they don't want. What? Yes, let me tell you why. We pay attention on other people things because we see it in others because we do it ourselves. When you says, I don't want drama, it's because there has been a relationship with dramas. They're either prompt to create drama or there are drama. So when somebody in a profile says everything they want, like a bullet point of complaints, pay attention. Like, for example, I wouldn't be with someone who voted for Trump. I wouldn't go out with a lefty. You know that is going to be conflict. When they says all the things bad and they don't talk, you have a small piece of real estate. So what I'm saying with this is a small space where you have to tell about yourself. If you spend 500 characters criticizing the people that you have been with, now we have a problem. Second, people talk, we don't pay attention, and when do we do enough questions? When I says this, questions are better than answers. Why? If I ask you, you ever cheat in your partner? And they says, I'm Catholic, I don't believe in that, it's against my religion. I would say, I understand that you are Catholic, Muslim, Jewish, whatever. That is going against your religion. But did you went against your religion and anytime cheating your partner? Start narrowing down. Do the right questions. And if the person get aggressive and start putting the blame on you, it's easy to answer. It's better to know the first date and not later on time. Third, deception coming from your expectations. I call it don't go to the first date with your bridal magazine. And that's not only for ladies, I'm talking about men too. One thing is the number 4 point that we're going to talk about deception when you provoke the deception. We're talking about the deception that you provoke yourself. We start putting the desire, what we're looking for, another person, and making that person responsible for that desire. Susan, again, confusing me? No. bear with me. I need to give you the context to understand the content. If I met someone, I'm going to put myself, if I met someone that has certain characteristic, automatically I'm going to add other characteristics than I expecting from this person and that person that I'm going to meet. If I found a client that says, I having problems with my sales team, I'm looking for somebody who coach them, I assume that the person is ready to get coached. No, that they says what they want, it doesn't mean that is what they need, and happen with you too. Because somebody's told, don't assume they're going to be playing baseball. If somebody live in South America, don't assume they're going to be speaking in Spanish, because you have people speaking in French, Portuguese, and English in Latin America. So I give another context to understand the deception many times coming from the expectation you have on that person. Number 4, people fight me on that and says that I am fair, but how I expecting to be fair or somebody fair with me if we start with a deception cue. What is this? Using filters and lying about your age and your weight and how you look for. If you go into a date and you cannot recognize the person you're going to be dating or you're going to have the first date, how do you expect me to trust anything you say? And I get it. Dating is getting so difficult, every day worse. But how you expect the other person to trust you, how you expect to say, I'm not lying, if you base a relationship in lies. I always says, I live in the forest, I'm an hermit, I don't like people, I'm not a social butterfly, I have 6 cats, what I do for living. If you cannot put up with those things, what are going to lure you to it? So remember, do not lie to expect the same. And you only have right to ask for the things that you give in exchange. And the 5th one, and bear with me. Don't expect everyone to fit every box. We have 2 relationships in life. One, when we are young and looking for mating. Mating is when you're looking for the spouse you're going to have kids. And the other one is the one you already have kids. Your spouse or your partner have kids, and you're looking for somebody to grow older. And it's okay for looking at different things. Be clear in your expectations. Do not negotiate. I have a friend who called me on Sunday morning and says, guess what? The guy that I've been seeing for 6 months is a Republican. He doesn't agree with this and this and that. And I says, wait a minute, 6 months? They were there. You were on the honeymoon, and that is the reason you didn't see it. No, but no. Pay attention. It's nothing wrong to ask the difficult questions on the beginning. And I'm going to talk about how much to share, because I have another dear human coming up that is asking, I think I'm oversharing in my first date, so we're going to dedicate another episode. But remember, establish the rules. It's nothing wrong to ask for what you want. Anything that you negotiate in the beginning is not unnegotiable. At the end, if you allow someone to eat oranges in bed, don't tell them 6 months later they cannot. My dear irrational human, we have something called confirmation bias. We go on in life, try to find people who fit the mold. Don't use labels. Let people be who they are. Never judge the book by the cover. Read the first chapter. My dear rational human, you can send your questions to marketing@susanibitz.com, or you can go to humanbehaviorschool.com if you want to read more about the topics that I talked today.
Susan Ibitz is a former political influence consultant, profiler, and civilian hostage negotiator. With expertise, studies, and masters in human behavior, behavior economics, neuroscience, and a nerd for data, Susan works on the humans that grow your business. High performance, high behavior training. Teach corporations and employees how to hack into humans using behavior, neuroscience, and persuasion. Behavior economics. She has been called freaky, and the top expert in her field by the Chicago Tribune and Psychology Today, by showing how to profile anyone in 30 seconds. She is the author and researcher of Irrational Humans. People make 35,000 decisions a day, and 95% are irrational. But why and how?